Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 658, written by Dozer2K16. When my girlfriend laughs, but my girlfriend never laughed. Tonight, I spent the night at my girlfriend's house, as I often do. There was a brief 10 or so minute period where we went to her sister's room and just talked with her. We had returned to my girlfriend's room after this short amount of time, to where she could not find her phone. So as most people would do, I FaceTimed it, so she could find it in the midst of all the blankets. Within a few seconds, the phone was found and she jokingly answered and said, "Hello." I made a funny looking face with my tongue sticking out, and she jokingly made a "what the hell" kind of face and then hung up. However, that's the weird part. When the call was hung up, from my phone's speakers there was a giggle. Her giggle, which is a very distinct sound that we both know well. In person, as we sat on our bed, there was no giggle, just the face she was giving back to me. At first, I thought nothing of it, like, oh, maybe I'm just hearing things. Then, she goes on to talk about the face I was making, but then adds, "I don't think I laughed though." Then I knew it really happened. We both think it is extremely creepy and strange. Case file number 659, written by TheWorldToCome. Water to wine, but water to mud? Even more impressive. I always just buy those bulk plastic water bottles at the store. I pull one out of my refrigerator and drink from it, and once I'm done, I crumple it up, throw it in the recycling bin, and grab another one from my refrigerator. I never ever reuse one of those water bottles, just throw it in the recycling bin. As usual, I'm at home. I live alone, no pets or roommates or anything. I had taken a new water bottle out of my refrigerator and opened it and drank about half of it. I went to the bathroom, which is in the other room, for about 2 minutes and came back out. Habitually, I grabbed my water bottle and took a big sip and, horrifically, ran to the sink and spit everything out. It was a type of reaction you have if you ever bitten into food and gotten a completely different taste than you expected. I dropped the water bottle as well in the process because I was so shocked at what just happened. The water I had just drank had a very grassy, earthy, muddy taste to it. The remainder of the water in my water bottle was murky brown, and the water bottle and water smelled grassy. I was in shock for a bit on what had just happened. I was just drinking out of this water bottle 2 minutes earlier before I went to the bathroom. I checked the lot number on the water bottle in case it was an old water bottle that had gotten misplaced in the back of my refrigerator and just been sitting there for years with the water going bad, but the lot number was the same as all the most recent water bottles I had just bought. Again, I live alone. All my doors were locked. I checked if anyone was in the apartment, but no one was. Like I said, I don't ever reuse or refill my water bottles when they're empty. I have no explanation. I did keep the water bottle as physical evidence and had my mom and sister smell it and tell me what it smelled like. They both agreed it was like muddy water. Case notes, file number 659. Here I am thinking of the classic biblical parable of Jesus turning water into wine. But why would anyone ever turn water into muddy water, even if they could? And who was it that did this? Was it some force of nature that converted your perfectly clear water into muddy water? And how would it go about doing this? Did someone sneak into your apartment and bring in mud and dump it into the water bottle and then just leave? Maybe one of your friends was pranking you? That's the only thing I can think of that makes any sense. If anyone has your apartment key, then that would be the most likely event. But still, even that is very strange. I know if I did something like that, I'm a prankster, I would definitely take credit for it, at least after a day or two. Creepy file number 26, written by Liquid Pen Chamber 1019. I'm always watching. This happened to me when I was about 10 years old, but even now as an adult in my 30s, I remember it like it was yesterday. My parents had taken my sister and I out to a movie, and then to get ice cream in celebration of my older sister getting straight A's on her report card. I remember my dad had gotten off work later than usual, so by the time the movie was over and we had our ice cream, it was well past our bedtime. It didn't matter though. My parents were happy and proud of my sister. We had a great time, and we took our time getting home. If it wasn't for what happened when we got there, I would have always looked back fondly on this night. We got home at around 10:30. Bedtime was usually 10, so I went straight to my room to put my pajamas on while my sister went to brush her teeth. I remember thinking that it seemed a little more chilly in the house that night, but that's the only thing out of the ordinary I can recall from when we first walked in. I barely had a chance to change when I heard my dad yell out our names from what I thought was the kitchen. I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew it was bad because I heard fear in his voice for the first time ever. It scared me really bad. I bolted out of the door and into the kitchen as fast as I could. My sister was already there, and her and my parents were standing very close. My mom looked like she was on the verge of panic when she motioned for me to come close. She wrapped her arms around my sister, and me and my dad were already dialing on the house phone. Then I noticed some glass on the floor. I asked what was wrong with me, but she didn't want to tell me. She said we needed to go outside right away. As we headed out of the front door, I heard my dad talking to a 911 operator and telling them that when we got home, he found our back sliding glass door shattered and objects strewn about the kitchen. We went to the neighbor's house and waited for the police to come. After a few minutes, my dad joined us. He seemed to be well shaken up, which was a new sight to me. The police arrived and searched the house extensively. It was a big scene with all our neighbors outside and flashing lights illuminating the entire street for hours, but they never found anybody in our house. Whoever had been there had come and gone. The thing that gets me is that nothing was stolen. Whoever it was didn't want any of our possessions. What they did was take our canned food out of the pantry and stack them into small pyramids on our kitchen counter. They also turned on the TV in the basement and moved a few random objects to different parts of the house. Very creepy. It was like an insane person had been in our home and did things for reasons that only made sense to him. As the police were finishing up and ready to leave, I heard one of them ask my mom a question. They talked quietly, and I'm sure they thought I didn't hear. I pretended not to be listening, but I heard everything. You see, we kept magnetized letters on our fridge. I think I had gotten them for a birthday present a few years before, and we used them to leave each other messages for fun sometimes. The cop was asking my mom if the message on there that night was done by any of us. It wasn't. I watched my mom turn pale when he told her what it said. It still makes my skin crawl to this very day. It said, "Always watching." The police didn't find any fingerprints. They said the intruder had to have been wearing gloves. For the next few days, my entire family was extremely uneasy. I was absolutely positive the intruder was still in the house somehow, and that there was a hidden place nobody knew about where he could hide and listen to us. I never shook the feeling that somebody was there. Within a few months, we decided to move. It was all just too scary for us to stay in that area. We moved to a house several miles away. We were never bothered again, but I do still think about it. Was it kids playing a prank? Was it some insane person that wanted to torment a random family? Or was it someone that truly had it out for us, and who really was always watching? Could it have been a neighbor or someone we knew? These questions still keep me up at night sometimes. This happened many years ago, but the hairs on my neck stand up sometimes when I'm alone at home, and I have to check the house to make sure no one is hiding. Case notes, creepy file number 26. So the fact that you all moved, exactly what I would have done. That message on the fridge is just creepy beyond words. It's one of those events where it's probably not supernatural at all, but yet, damn, that is just too spooky. Who would do that? It probably was someone that was mentally ill, but why the message? Did he think it was someone else's house? Maybe. And that it took a while for you to move means that it probably was someone just trying to terrify you, since he was never back, whoever it was. At any rate, I'm glad you and your family are okay, but that would be traumatic indeed.